Well, hello everyone. 6 o'clock. As promised, we rushed really fast to get home. I'm really sorry that we're coming on a little different time, but as it was suggested, Walking Dead is coming on at 7, so we don't have those numbers, so we're gonna work around your schedule. So anyway, one of the first things I'm going to touch bases on is what they call what I've been calling the unknown so-called magic wand. Is that you that came online? Okay. And it's actually, I'm sorry. Hey Andrew. What I mean by the unknown so-called magic wand is there happens to be a theory or thought some people have when they don't deal with paranormal very often, is that we as professionals who have been doing it for a long period of time can wave a magic wand and make the ghosts go away. And it's simply not true. I wish I knew where that magic wand existed, because I would be so rich right now. It's really hard to do a lot of things. And I know that sometimes when you're getting not as many details as needed, things like that, and sometimes you're working with trying to help people in different areas, it's really hard to solve the problem when you're sitting miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away. I feel my heart goes out to it, but I mean, to get mad at any paranormal investigator when they are unable to wave their wand and have the paranormal go away, the entities go away, it's just not going to happen. Sometimes even if we're able to pull a group together to get over there, it's still not certain that it's going to happen within minutes or it's going to happen over that night. There's a lot of different ways that we can get rid of paranormal out of the house, and if you're contacting a paranormal investigator about what's going on, make sure you include with all the steps that you've tried with different investigators, with different people, things that you've tried, things that have failed, things that you might are curious about. It's really hard for us, and it really does put a strain on us that we can't wave that wand and have it done. It's just impossible. So for that's why I call it the so-called magic wand. And also remember, I do want to help everybody out that I can. And today, I mean, I had talked to, I think, 30 people just today, back and forth, which was kind of great, because this morning when I talked to a lot of them, I was kind of just sitting around my recliner not knowing what I was going to do with the day until we got up and going. But it was really cool. And but prior to that, throughout the last few weeks, I've had a lot of people sharing pictures, experiences, things like that. And I'm sorry if I can't get right on it. I'm trying to keep everybody lined up. I do have a lot of people that are trying to get help from me and things like that, and question things and look at pictures or audio, video, things like that. And I'm really trying to get up on everybody's stuff. So if you could just be patient with me, I'm really sorry if I can't do it within a day or two. It might even take a week or two. It just depends. I still have a lot of other obligations, but you are an obligation as well, so I do want to make sure that I get you handled. So just know that, okay? As that goes with that, please keep sending it to me. I'm not going to stop, and I will relate my free time to helping anybody I can. I just want to make sure that we do this right. And please, I've already had somebody get real mad at me. I'm sorry to say, when I take a picture and I'm able to open it up and I don't personally see anything, that doesn't mean anything's not there. I just don't see anything. Don't get mad. Don't get real upset with me, especially when the question is, where is it that you're looking that you see something? Because I might not see what you see. I literally spent an hour studying a picture, and it happens, okay? And I know everybody who goes out to a paranormal investigation wants something to be there. And I'm sorry, not every time it's going to be. And sometimes as we've told before, it's a bug, or it's a silhouette that wood creates, or a glare, something to that effect. I don't want to lie to you, and I don't want to sit there and go, oh yeah, you've got all these haunted pictures, this is great. So just know that that's not the way we do things. So if I tell you I don't see it, where is it? Don't get upset. Show me what you're looking at, and I'll look even deeper. And if I still don't see it, you enjoy it for what it's worth. You're just getting an opinion from me. If you feel you see something and something's there, okay. Then enjoy it for what it's worth. Okay? But just make sure, if you share it with me, and because I already had another one that I debunked was they were using infrared during daylight hours. Really not a good idea. Great picture, though. I love the picture, but the very first question out of my mouth was, did you film this with infrared during the daylight? And unfortunately, yes. So that, any kind of glares and stuff like that creates the different silhouettes and things like that it could be. So we're just trying to make sure that we do everything legit. We don't want to fabricate. We don't want to lie to you. We don't want to cause problems. And if you feel like we didn't see it and you saw it, fine. Just say, hey, they didn't see anything, but this is what I seen. Maybe this other group might see it. Who knows? It's up to you. Okay, it's up to you. Have fun. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay. So with that being said, let's not worry about the proverbial so-called magic wand. I don't want anybody getting mad at us when we're not able to get rid of a ghost like that. Okay, especially if I can't get to you. I don't have the budget yet, and I stress yet. You never know, so keep ties with us. We might get that budget to be able to go there to certain states. I'm actually confined to an area than I used to be because of what I do for a living, and sometimes it's hard to get extra days off work, especially we're in different cycles. If many of you don't know that during the day I actually go and I work as a wind turbine technician, and that's kind of a demanding field. So we work some pretty long hours a lot of times. So. And I have been trying to get some days off so I can go over to California, Nevada, Colorado, Arizona to help some people out. So I'm still working on details with that. There's only so many weekends in a year for us. So what is that? Okay, that has been asked before. I'm gonna step back for a second. No, let's go which way. This right here is, yes, it is Ouija board. And one of the greatest things is, this is one of the original releases that the Parker Brothers originally released. This is the first edition Parker Brother release. And what's more amazing about this was never used. It was actually, I actually got it in its original packaging, sealed up, everything like that. And so I actually have it. It's in here. It's unused. It's actually been salted and binded, so it can't be used. It's just ambiance. So it's nothing. There's nothing going to come from this. And it used to be pointing at an R for rainy, but the board has since slid down a little bit. But that's the only thing it's done. But it has never done anything else, and no one has been able or allowed to use it. Just having it in the house ain't going to cause problems unless it's been opened, like the proverbial gateway. Hello, Tammy. Hi, sis. And John. Hey, John. And John, I've been talking with today. I will get through your pictures after I'm done with this live stuff here, okay? So I'll try to get some of it tonight and probably some of it in the morning, and I will get those things done. Okay, I promise. John, you are actually on the tops of my priority to get those pictures done. All right. Okay, so we had a remarkable response to Sin's post of haunted objects. And then not only did we have a remarkable response, but questions just poured in. We had some about dolls and haunted objects, things following. So we're going to actually do this together. I want to talk a little more about haunted objects. So what I did is I went and got mine. I actually do own and possess a couple haunted objects, but I also own and possess things that actually keep some things at bay. Now, the first one is a minor one. Now, keep in mind what I have done. These have been binded, and there is salted behind the frames, things like that to keep it from being released. Now, when I'm asked, people will always ask, what is the best way to do to keep it from haunting me or stuff like that? Well, the best way is not to have it to begin with. I know a lot of people will buy it purposely because it is. So that's with that. Now, what do we got right now? Can I see your phone real quick? I want to check something out. Okay, I just had to make sure everything was looking good because it was looking a little choppy on my end here. So what could work for one person might not work for another. Or I should say, what could work for binding one spirit might not work for another. It's kind of like human beings. What one diet will work for one might not work for another. It's just sometimes it can be a little difficult. But I have found that the two that I've worked with, they actually both have worked underneath with the Malaysian pink salt that I have inside the frames, and it's been binded and blessed. What? Himalayan. I'm sorry. See, I'm so excited to talk about haunted objects. Spirit vessel dolls, have you heard of them? Yes, and that's what we're going to get into the dolls too, actually. Because dolls were originally created as spirit vessels. How they became a toy. Well, and if you really go back in history, we have some of the most horrific stories on the planet that are now cutesy Disney tales. So, I mean, it all really just time proves us all. The first one I'm going to show you is is a really great piece. I actually had to have it authenticated and looked at by a photographer to make sure that it is what I thought it was. This is an actual post-mortem picture, but something was attached to it. It probably still is, but it has been kept under lock and key. It wasn't malicious, but it was mischievous. So I'll show you that one. And you might, oh boy, let's see. Oh, okay, that's a little bit better. And you'll see right there, it's been locked up. And I try to keep it just in that frame. I don't want to open it and remove it because then I've got to start all over. And it has been binded, it has been salted, and it has an absolutely beautiful tintype piece. I love this picture. I love tintypes, I really do. And post-mortem tintypes, perfect. And the great part is you have to actually really look at it to figure out which one's the post-mortem. Okay? It's hard to guess. So with that one, what I had come with it, and I don't believe it was anyone that was a part of this picture, but it was a little girl. It started out small, hide and go seek kind of thing, cute smiles. The laughter was a little eerie, but hey, you know what? You deal with it. And it started becoming more and more darker, more hatred. I don't know why. So it had to be binded. And I have not had a problem since. Okay.
John wants to know if you've ever used a spirit box.
John, I was actually playing with a spirit box last night. I would like to actually get our hands on a real one. I was using an app that somebody had recommended to me as a spirit box. I don't know how well that really works. I think it was actually quite terrible. But I'm getting my hands on a real spirit box. I've never really worked with one. My friend Cindy Parker, she's been recommending it to me for I don't know how long. And we will be actually putting one to the test here in the near future. So that's one that we're going to be doing soon.
Giona says hi.
Hi!
And did you get that photo from one of your inventions?
Which photo from my inventions? I don't understand the question. Did you get the photo from one of your inventions? Or is it maybe it's supposed to be investigations? Let me know which one is supposed to. Let me know what it's probably going to be, so that way I can answer your question properly. To let you know, I had the photo given to me because I do collect tintypes. This is actually the only one I have left. That's okay. We're going to have some more because postmortems are very hard to find, and I don't like them as gruesome as I've seen them. But any tintype is really just amazing because I love history. Okay, one of the most haunted objects I have. This thing took a long time. In fact, honestly, I did not know it was attached to this object. I thought it followed me home from a investigation. I thought it was something that was. This was really interesting to me because I still cannot understand anything it's ever said when it came about, and to the point where I didn't want to. So this has been binded up. It's good to have prides of your collection. This right here is a German prayer book that was published in 1792. Its German is so archaic that my neighbor, who is from Germany, cannot read it. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful book. If you know anything about historic books, this has got some of the original press. What they'll do is they put the stuff on a block and they press it down. These pages came from some of the first blocks. The more the block was used, the more cracks it would get, the more bleeding it would have. But this was some of the first, and it is one of my absolute favorite items. The problem is I cannot open this right now. What contained in it was a man. It was an older man. I cannot tell you if he was German or not. I don't know what nationality he associated himself with. All I know is that the language I could not understand. I know he was very angry, and he showed his anger. He made sure to cause a lot of bad energies. There was a couple times where he had me kind of nervous. I didn't know what his intentions were. I didn't know if he didn't like that I had possession of this book. In fact, inside of it is an inscription that was done over 100 years later to given to somebody with the last name Schmidt. And great enough as that is, I mean, it's just to think somebody was given this as an antique gift in 1880s or 1890s, and now look at it. We're in 2017. This is quite an old book, but a very beautiful book indeed. So I didn't want to get rid of the book because I do love my antique books, first editions, things like that. And so this also actually took the same binding. It's a little smudging in the house to retreat it back. There is salts underneath the silks of this. It was done with silk as well, just to protect the book, as well as the glass is a particular glass to keep from fading and things like that. It has hung on the wall. It's in a locked trunk right now while we're doing remodels and things like that. So this is one of my particular favorites, and this had just an absolutely dark attachment to it. But I also felt like maybe it was a misunderstood one. It could actually be quite an uplifting and enlightened one, but it didn't want to give the opportunity to show me it can be relaxed and enlightened. So we're going to put that back there. That is, those are the two objects that I have that were proven to be haunted. Let's see. It says, what happens if you release it and got rid of the haunted object? Honestly, I think there is a way to release the one off the book, just not off the picture. I just haven't got too worrying about it at the moment, trying to get some other things figured out. I think if I was to remove the haunting from the object, I'd probably have to put it in something else, but and then was able to get rid of the object, it'd be perfectly fine for the next person. Do I ever deal with a witch? Absolutely. I grew up with one. Yes, I do. I actually have my dealings, and half my family practice, especially with the pagan side of it. So half my family is technically part of witches. So yes, I do have my dealings, especially when I need to have some questions answered. So, pardon me. The next thing I was going to show you is some of the things that I have used as positive to keep things out. It's done pretty good because ever since I've had a lot of these hanging around, I haven't had the dark objects that I've had in the past. I've had things follow, just nothing as dark as I had. One of which, absolutely, I am not a religious person by any means, but this is just beautiful. Let me make sure I have it upside down. Right here. These are from two different Bibles. This one is from 1492, This one's from 1501. They are Bible verses, and they are written completely in Latin. The years they were produced was 1501 and 1492. And I'll tell you, one of the most beautiful energies that I've had come off of any objects were these. And I don't know if it was the fact that there was people that owned them originally were very positive, uplifting, great people. But I'll tell you what, I have not had to do anything to these to create this positivity, and it really is a beautiful thing to keep around. And it looks cool too. I mean, you tell people, hey, I got something from 1492 and 1501. It's really cool to see a piece of history. So along with that, my final piece that I keep around for positive is this is from 1492 as well. This is This is printed in 1492. The opera Octavius. No biblical nothing, but it was presided over Pope Franciscus. I think I want to say the third. I'll have to check on that when it was originally published. But it has no religious aspects to it. So, but it still just has a real positive thing. So whoever had this kept the positivity with it. I've had it checked. It's not haunted, and that's fine. Don't have to have everything haunted. In fact, I really don't want everything haunted. My biggest heart and admiration are for Ed and Elaine Warren. I couldn't have that room they have. So, I mean, Annabelle and all them aside, but the other stuff they have that they haven't decided to do movies about would shock you. I think they have other things that are worse than the Annabelle doll, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So with that, let's see what we got for questions. Maybe catch up a little bit. I'm thinking about getting a haunted Amish doll spirit supposed to be from the 1800s. Any suggestions before I purchase it? Do you know how to deal with it if it becomes something that you weren't expecting, something evil, something dark, something malicious? That's the first thing I would know how to do, and know somebody close by that knows how to deal with that, because if you don't get it. I know a lot of people want to keep it with their own collections and stuff like that, and I think it's the new thing to have something haunted. But if you want to have the doll and you have to keep it, even if it's something positive, the different salts, the black salts, the pink salts, stuff like that, that you can have in a display box where you can have it and keep it displayed. But you're going to need it. I recommend a smudging. Good blessing would tie it down too. It would tie into it as well. So that's just my suggestion to try if you want to keep it enclosed. Oh, that's a good question. Where are you getting this from anyway? Because it has the huge risk that they're feeding you full of garbage and that it's just a doll. I just kind of curious, because I know I've jumped on eBay a couple times and there's like, oh, haunted doll, and I'm looking at this thing going, okay, what's haunted? And I saw one, what was it, $666 just to make sure that the price was $666. And I finally wrote the guy and I was like, okay, what's haunted about it? And I think I wrote him 3 times and he still hasn't gotten back with me about it. So just be real cautious on that. Exactly right. Know how to cleanse first. I suppose they had a shadow figure laughing, moving stuff around, ending door dreams, jumping, etc. Well, no. What's that?
It's a dream jumping.
Dream jumping, yeah, dream jumping. One thing we just want to do is, if you have dark entities and they are causing problems physically, mentally, I seek the professionals. I know that, like I said, I can't get to everybody, but I'm more than happy if you are wondering about groups in your area. Let me know where you're at, and I'll look them up and see if I can let you know yay or nay. Because sometimes I know you'll find a new group, or I know there's, in fact, just a couple days ago, I just watched a brand new group jump on and get the webpage and everything up and going, and people are already kind of upset with some of the stuff they're doing. But, you got to start somewhere. We got to start somewhere right as well. So let's see what else we got going. There's so much eBay. Yeah, be careful with anything you get off eBay. And it concerns with paranormal or good luck charms or anything like that. I mean, I carry a good luck charm with me every so often, especially after I've done my hunt. All it is my archangel. Like I said, I'm not religious, but sometimes you have to have your positivity around. Sometimes you just want to keep that little protection. I didn't need anything following me the last couple of days. We want to keep everything on the good, up and up. So, okay, yes. Put that back out of my way. What do I know about astral projecting? Not a whole lot. I have a close friend of mine who has been working with me on astral projecting. She has done a wonderful job. I'm still kind of green with it. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to sit there and feed you full of crap on something I don't know a ton about. It's also why I don't mess with skinwalkers or demons or any of that other stuff that people talk about. Shoot us a message. That's wonderful. That's it. That's exactly right. Shoot us a message. This is a realm that should not be taken lightly. Yeah. Attached are something to play around with. Attachments are something not. They're not. There was a movie came out. I think it was Possession. I got to remember the name of it. I laughed pretty hard through it, but it actually touched upon a point of one of the most haunted objects that are still in existence. They actually have there's these boxes that contain an actual dark spirit, and they've used so much to bind it to keep it where it's at. And once open release, and they got to go through the entire thing again. And these things are malicious. They are dangerous, and they are just. I mean, I wish you could literally bury these things deep in the ground and get rid of them, but for some reason somebody always ends up finding them. And what we have really is not anything you want to play with. I've gone into houses that people have played with these things, and they're just not anything you want to deal with. They're darker. I honestly, I don't know about demons and stuff like that, but I know that sometimes I've dealt with things that were never a human spirit. Or never human before they became a spirit. So it makes it a little harder on me because I'm not too familiar with what I'm dealing with. So I will go with different styles and different aspects to try and help move it along or rid the house of it. That's why I love the saltings. I love smudging. Smudging is great. Native Americans been doing it for centuries, so it's really useful tool if you can learn how to smudge properly. One of the newest ones was rose stems above your doors to keep things out. I actually found that to be quite useful for certain entities, some of the darker entities that have come through. So there are millions of different ways. Blessings. I know, and a lot of people have come back and saying, I'm atheist. I don't believe in this. I honestly, when it comes to the blessings and things like that, I'm not really looking at it as a religious aspect, as more of positivity. Though that person preaching that word has so much positive energy because they believe it so much. I believe it does something. I believe all that positive energy actually does something. So when they're doing a blessing on the house, or they're doing an exorcism, or doing something, whether or not you believe, that positive energy is real. And so we let them go with it and keep it real. What do we got? Thank you, Divot Boxes. Thank you. I never remember that name. What's the final one down there?
I've seen Annabelle, the movie, so many times. Sort of a creepy movie.
And the thing about Annabelle, if you don't know, or you can look it up online too, but the Warrens, like I said, they're great people. Well, may Ed rest in peace. Elaine's still alive. They're wonderful people. But Annabelle originally is a Raggedy Ann doll. But you can see Parker Brothers wouldn't want that on there. The kids wouldn't sleep at night. Plus, I mean, how scary is a Raggedy Ann doll? I mean, look at the old Chucky movies. The old Chucky movies, like, okay, a real but my buddy doll was out at that time. Those weren't scary. Then you got this messed up looking Chucky doll, and I was like, perfect. Now we got it scary. So I think it went along the lines of that. But yes, Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll. What do we got? Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm going to be reading at the same time. They keep telling me to wear my glasses. I don't want to. So, once contact has been made, attachments are very real and hard to rid yourself of. Okay, I'll read this out loud. Once contact has been made and attachments are very real and hard to rid yourself of, this paranormal fad is not something to not take with a grain of salt. And I agree with that, Randy. 100%. You have my full support on that. It isn't. In fact, if you have a haunted object that you know of and it's attaching itself to you, get the professionals in there and do the best. But it's going to take a lot of work. I'm not talking about it's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen overnight. This could take months. So just do what you got to do, and you don't want that. You don't. I've had to rid myself of anything that's followed me just so I don't have attachments. Plenty of sage around my city. Okay, well, and yes, we have a lot of natural sage here, and I love the smell, especially in that desert rain. It's wonderful stuff. Mm-hmm. He's talking about his city in Oregon. No, and talking about city in Oregon. There is sage throughout most of the western United States, and I think there's quite a different type back east as well. How do you find out what I've seen by the description? Go like you're trying to find out what it is, if it's paranormal, if it's demon, if it's this or that. Is that what you're trying to ask? Because that's go ahead and elaborate a little more on that. Sometimes it takes years, and that is true. And sometimes that even at that year, something can open the door back up, and it's right back where it began. So playing with this stuff is never a good idea. I support paranormal investigations. I support new groups. I support new people. I support all the greenhorns out there that come around, especially to help keep this alive, because they might actually come up with something that I didn't before. You never know with something. I know that, as I've said in previous live feeds, that I started out with a disposable flash camera. I was broke. I was still broke, but I mean, at least I have a little bit more money to buy some better equipment. But I think that's why I'm broke, actually. But you got to start out somewhere. But when it comes to haunted objects, the best advice anybody could ever give you: leave it alone. It's kind of like finding a rattlesnake in the desert. Leave it alone. Just walk away from it. Don't involve yourself and as long as you're careful, it won't bite you. So, let's see what else we got there.
John said yes to your...
Okay, yes. How do you find out I have a real difficulty when it comes to, is it demonic, is it paranormal of a human, things like that. I'm going to take your pictures, and once I've gone through them, John, I'm going to send them on to a friend of mine to have a look, and maybe I can have an answer for you. It's going to be a little bit because I know they're very busy, but just bear with me. I will get you an answer. It'll be more of this is what they think, and then you can tell them what you think, or you can tell me whatever. But we're going to work on this, and I'll have that put together for you. Okay, John? Dang, okay. You're making me second think. Yeah, second think it. If you want to have fun, find a creepy doll. There's a lot of them out there because porcelain dolls sometimes just look creepy anyway, and just claim it's haunted. It's even the skeptics will just laugh at you, but it's still having a creepy doll. I actually recommend getting those old vaudeville ventriloquist dummies because they look creepy anyway. So, and I love them. I'd love to get my hands on one of the originals, but very hard to find. Okay, I'm going to read again. I have my lovely assistant. You want me to turn the camera? Okay. Experimenting with paranormal goes very deep and can be very becoming of something that can follow you the rest of your physical life. Please get educated before you dabble in this field. I agree with you, Randy. Education is key. I learned from some of the tops in the country. Like I said, the only reason I bring up Ed and Lorraine is because these movies have made everybody, oh, I know, I've heard of them now, but at least so you can associate the name with people that. But there are so many others. Jonathan Richter, brilliant. He doesn't have any books and stuff like that, and he is still alive, so you might want to look him up. I'm trying to remember. There was I want to say his name is Gail Mitchkoff. I know Mitchkoff is the last name. He was Russian, and he fantastic. The pictures that I saw with him and the things that he told me and taught me were just incredible. I loved working around him and learning from him. I took the time to learn from some of what I felt to be some of the best in the country at the time. This was back in 1996 when I started. Fooled around with a little bit in 95 when I was 15 years old and just kept working. But with anything, you just need to learn. And I actually started out by going to learn a little bit more, and then sneaking away. As I got older, I went to the conventions that they had in Vegas to meet some of them there. These were really small at the time because it was such a small, tight community that it's not what it is now with the popularity because ghost hunters come out or paranormal activity or things like that to really draw people in, and this creepiness is now popular. This was very small, and all of them were more than willing to talk to you and educate you. And some of them were trying to talk you out of it. Unless you had some abilities to see, then they kind of encourage you to kind of help keep the motion of paranormal investigations alive. And if you really want to know where I started, I really loved Ghostbusters. But they don't have those little proton packs. They don't work. They do have one called Ghostbusters of Salt Lake. They do a lot of birthday parties, and they actually have authentic-looking ones, but they're a lot of fun. Let's see what we got. Tell your sister hi for me. Tammy, Andrew says hi, and I guess she had to leave, so I will tell her personally. I will text her later. Well, if you ever hear my phone go off and you hear When You Wish Upon a Star with the little music box, that's her, making sure she interrupts me during the live broadcast. As a paranormal investigator on a team, I just thought it would be neat to have one, but I totally understand where you're coming from too. Chuck, I'll tell you what, Chuck. I like the fact that you're willing to listen, that you're open enough to understand where it can be problematic. It really is also a bad idea to have a haunted object when you don't know really how to deal with it. Also, if you end up in an investigation situation where your energy is fluctuating back and forth between the haunted object and your investigation, and now you've got a little bit more danger into it. I'll elaborate more on that in just a minute. I know it came out confusing. I'll do it in just a moment. Intriguing and exciting, no doubt. Just take it seriously, as this is an interesting field of knowledge, but not a fad that is seen on TV. This was asked me yesterday, and I will come clean. Yeah, okay, and there's part of it today. Yes, I myself am working on a television show that I own the rights to. It was actually a little funny, long story short. I said, I can create a better show than that crap that you guys do, and they said, prove it. Problem is when I originally created it and put it together, and we were actually getting ready to go into production. I was with PAS Media Inc., and it was going through, there was actually being talked through History and Discovery at the time. But at that time in 2009, the market everything crashed, and it just took a dump, and PAS closed their doors. I got my contracts back, and I just went into normal stuff and trying to write my book and everything. As it goes for the TV, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to work on my stuff with my books right now at the same time, so it's like stretching me a little thin, but whichever one is on the right path at that point, that's when I start working with, and then I go to the next. But as it goes for the other guys on TV, I've gotten to know several of them. Let's just say that it is for entertainment value. I know as professional paranormal investigators, a lot of you are, we know what we're watching. We know we hate. Did you hear that? I mean, really. Oh my gosh, did you see that? No. But I did see you kick the table. You have to understand outside the paranormal community, there are a lot of people that are just interested because it scares the hell out of them and they want that excitement. So it's entertaining. Not every investigation is garbage. I'm not saying that. Okay, I think a lot of them had some great talents to begin with. I know there has been last year, the year before, there was a firing. I know because when it happened before it was announced, I had the phone call, but trying to see if I was still doing something. But what I've created is quite a bit different than what you're seeing on TV right now, and we will be working with it. And once I get it up and going, if I get it up and going, I'm going to say when, because you never know. They actually love the idea when we were starting to roll with it. When I get it up and going, you will know everything about it. In fact, I will actually this site will stay up with me, and I will still do lives, and I will still involve you guys. And in fact, every so often, I'll throw it on live while we're doing something. Same with the book. I mean, I like you guys with me when I go to these Comic Cons and stuff like that, and these book tours and things like that. I'm very proud of Forevermore Memoirs of the Grim Reaper, and I'll be very proud to release the second book as soon as I get the new literary agent and publisher put together. I'm sorry that I'm taking a lot of time getting it away from the original publisher, but that just takes time. So when it comes to TV show fads, just because you saw it on TV doesn't mean you should go out and do it. Just like the Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, you're not going to be flinging yourself with a catapult just because you saw it on TV. As it's been said before, get educated, know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, I'm sure there's a group that might be able to educate you a bit. I hope they can educate you, and it's just not a bunch of people who watch TV and figure they can do what they're going to do. Be real cautious of your groups. The first sign is if they're being disrespectful in the areas. I'm talking about, say, in a graveyard, throwing cigarette butts, peeing, whatever. Just disrespectful stuff. When you see that, that's not a real group. Go find somebody else. Learn from the right people. I was told once, if you want to become a millionaire, you hang out with millionaires. You want to be a paranormal investigator, you hang out with paranormal investigators. Easy as that. See what we got. Okay, Andrew, my man. I'm not big on dowsing rods. What do you think about them? I've never used a dowsing rod, to be honest with you, so I don't know a whole lot about them. I will. Let me ask a few things on that, and I'll message you. Okay? Let me just do that. Do I believe dogs can sense spirits? Yes, I do. Mine are very good at it. I love when they're sitting there staring in a corner and wagging their tail. It's like, okay, this is going to be a lot of fun today. I can already tell. You know what? I was just seeing that Paranormal Lockdown. I hadn't heard of that one, so I'm going to have to check into that. Somebody else was telling me about it, so that might be a lot of fun. That'll be cool. I don't know anything about Nick or Christina. Sorry if I said that wrong, Christina. But I'll check it out. I think it's worth seeing at least once. What happened if we released the evil in a haunted object and I got rid of it that same day? That'd be my suggestion to do. Get rid of it that same day. And if you know how to get rid of it, and if it's something that you still think there's a portion of it attached to it, know how to get rid of it properly. There are some good stuff online to read, but there are some people to reach out to. Usually you want to talk to your witches and stuff like that, your Wiccans. Some of them have different things they can bind and use with it. So that's just a suggestion. Never taunt the spirits. I never did like that when I'd watch a television show and they're like, hey, F you. What does that do besides make you look like an ass? I just had to ask, Don't poke on it. Don't sit there and start burning down their houses and things like that. It's just stupid. I used to live in several haunted houses. That's what drew me to this field. And, that's a great start to everything. I always thought I was just weird and could see. I thought I was crazy and could see stuff. But, I still like Ghostbusters. That's still a really good movie. I know that's really not the greatest paranormal investigation movie in the world, but my gosh, I still love Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. Come on. How fun is that? How fun would that have been? And nobody cared anything about the fact that an entire city was overrun with spirits that everybody can see. They were just more worried about a growing business. That still never made sense to me. But hey, still love that movie. Okay, Sin is going to answer you about the dowsing. So I'll let that, because I don't know anything about that. So with that, it has been 45 minutes. I have really enjoyed this one with you guys. I am enjoying doing this on the basis that I've been doing it. I'm sorry that sometimes I get a little bit rambling down through things. I'm hoping that I'm answering questions properly for you. I know I got criticized this morning because I don't have a professional attitude when I go on a paranormal investigation, which is really funny because I originally just went over to my sister's house to enjoy just having fun. And if you can't enjoy what you're doing, then why are you doing it? The primary of my paranormal investigations, even when I did drink, I did not drink during investigations because you need to keep clear. I kept a very professional attitude with what I do, and I always have, and I was noted for it. Of the 900 groups that I've helped around the world, every one of them sought me out because of my professionalism. So, with that being said, I'm going to have fun, and I want you guys to have fun, and I'm enjoying every one of you. So if you have more questions, again, please make sure you message me over through the site. I really look forward to seeing all of you come back on, and then in Flourish, bring more people on. I mean, I'll answer any questions you got. And if there's something you want me to, topic you want me to touch on, message me, post it on the site, do whatever you like, just to let me know, because we want to know what you like. I'm sorry that some of the serious investigations I'm not going to be able to post live, but we're going to put together that. And on top of that, some of the stuff that I did over there last night, I'll put that together this week, and I'll show you a few things here and there. So we're going to have a little things going on for you. So with that being said, to all of you, wait a minute. Okay. To that being said, to all of you, thank you again for joining me. It's really a pleasure. I really enjoy everybody's input. And to that, I want to say thank you, good night, and happy hunting. Thank you.